Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Fan Art Friday. In this video I'm drawing Green Arrow, and it was suggested a lot last week after you'd seen me draw the Flash. It seemed to be the most requested drawing from last week, so I'm glad that I finally worked on it for this week's video. As always, if you have any drawing suggestions, then feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be picking one and working on a drawing for next week's video. This drawing took about 2 hours to complete, and I started off by looking at a bunch of different reference images online. And I found this really cool painting of Green Arrow. It was actually a watercolor painting, and it had this really cool pose. So I decided to base my drawing off of that. And as usual, I started off the outlines with a Pentel pocket brush pen. I love this pen, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's absolutely brilliant for this kind of drawing. And then for the colouring, as usual, I used Copic Markers. For the skin tones of Green Arrow, I used salmon pink for the sort of mid-tone shading, and then for the lighter tones I used a powder pink Copic marker, and then funnily enough for the darker shading of his skin tones I used a Copic marker called Lipstick Natural, just to add the darker outlines around the edges of his face. I didn't go too overboard with the shading on his face. I left a few wrinkles on his forehead and some scuff marks on his cheeks. But I left one side of his face completely highlighted to give the kind of backlit effects that I've been using in a few of my drawings, and left the other side shaded. And then for his hair I used a sand Copic marker for the darker shading, and I used a milky white Copic marker for some of the lighter shading in between. I left quite a lot of highlights for this hair effect, and I also used a few Prismacolor pencils to add a bit more details to the shaded parts of the hair. For Green Arrow's clothing, I used a moss-coloured Copic marker for the darker shading, and a lime green Copic marker for the lighter shading, and I made sure to leave quite a few highlights. And then once I'd added the base layer of colour to the clothing, I went back and I used some grey Copic markers to add some extra tone, and I even used a black Copic marker to add some really dark tones around the edges of the clothing. I think adding the darkness of the black Copic marker really helps to make the highlighted areas stand out much more than before. Once I'd added the colour with the Copic markers, I also decided to add some extra details with the Prismacolor pencils. They pair together really well with the Copic markers, and they help to add some extra details and textures to these kind of drawings. Once I'd finished all the colouring of Green Arrow, I decided that I wanted to create a bit of a background for the drawing. So for that I used a cool shadow Copic marker. This is a really nice light colour, and leaving a bit of a highlight around the edges of Green Arrow really helps make the character stand out from the background, and overall I was really pleased with the effect. So I really hope you like this drawing, and please let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you enjoy these kind of videos then make sure to subscribe, and any likes, shares, favourites, that kind of support is greatly appreciated, and it really means a huge amount to me. If you want to contact me via Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, I have all of my links in the description box below, and you can feel free to contact me there if you have any requests or drawing suggestions. And feel free to leave your drawing suggestions in the comments below, as I'll be reading them all the time, and hopefully I'll pick yours for next week's drawing video. And it really does mean a lot to me that you want to see me work on these drawings, and I really appreciate the fact that you support them, and I want to keep these Friday videos going as long as possible, so feel free to leave your comments, and hopefully I'll get round to working on your suggestion. Once again, thank you so much for all the support on this channel. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.